Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Historical Humans Heritage. And on today's episode, we have great news coming from the world of UNESCO, where 32 brand new sites just earned World Heritage status, including one of my personal favorites, but quite a few interesting ones from natural environments, prehistoric structures, including France's Stonehenge. More to
Yep.
follow.
Oh yeah, there's been a lot here. The 2025 batch for UNESCO just dropped. It's very fun and exciting. This happens only about once a year, if that, when the UN has the meeting that decides these things. And a lot of things on this list. Some of them are dark, some of them are beautiful natural landscapes, and some of them are things that you would have thought would have been on this list sooner. It's it's pretty fun. It is a truly global effort. I believe there is something from every continent on the list, with the sole exception of Antarctica, because I don't think there's been anything out there long enough to get on this list.
To say, don't disrespect my penguin friends. They're the only ones out there, you know. But one of my personal favorites is the Neuschwanstein Castle in Bavaria, which is the headline of this article, because
Yeah,
that castle is one of the most picturesque, and that's what I think of as like a fantasy castle. Dinosaurs flying off of it, perched on a hillside, and there's a lot of really interesting sites, including the megalithic alignments in Carnac, Brittany, North France, which is considered the French Stonehenge, so to speak. There's a cave in Bashkortostan.
yeah, yeah. The Minoan palaces got on here. These
Really?
are Yeah, these are very big. Yep, they're again, these are one of the ones where it's like it's surprising that this didn't get noticed sooner, as you know those palaces are very iconic. They represent an entire lost civilization, and they have been well excavated and well documented for over a century, and yet 2025 is their year.
And it's interesting to me because they even have one, the Tuol Sleng Genocide Museum in Cambodia, which
Oh
is
yeah.
fairly recent and a very, very dark part, but it highlights something that I think we've definitely fallen away from, especially here in the United States, that you need to learn bad history so it doesn't repeat itself. Like, you can't
Yeah.
hide or remove unpleasantries or things that maybe look in a bad light, because then you are completely destined to repeat it. And there is a thing to be said about certain people wanting to repeat aspects of it.
Yeah, but the main point here is that sometimes the darkest chapter is the most significant,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what we're seeing recognized here by UNESCO with, I believe, several very dark um, uh, sites getting added here. Um, there's there's a whole collection to what happened with the Khmer Rouge out in Cambodia back in the 70s. There's several instances associated with that have, I believe, combined to join the UNESCO World Heritage Site.
What I do
It's
think is kind of cool is, along with the announcement of these sites, UNESCO also announced that it was removing three properties from its list of endangered World Heritage.
Oh, that's right. Yes, there's the ones that have been restored.
The ancient pilgrimage site of Abu Mina in Egypt, which was endangered by rises in the water table. The old town of Gamades in Libya, which was under threat by conflict and climate change. And then there was the rainforests of Atsinanana in Madagascar, which was imperiled by illegal logging.
Yep, yep. It's Yeah, there's a lot here going on here. There's a lot of new sites to look at, and they're very they're very beautiful, and they're all over the world. You've got the um I can't pronounce it, but there's some more imperial tombs in China. Uh, I really can't say that word, and I'm not even going to try.
You have the Digibie cultural landscape of the Mandara Mountains in Cameroon, cultural
Yep.
heritage site of ancient Kutal in Tajikistan,
Yep.
which
You have
is
the
so cool.
Yeah, you have the petroglyphs of the Bangucheon stream in Korea.
You
You've
have the
got you've got you've got everything. Prehistoric sites, stonework, cave
paleo
paintings.
landscapes, which is incredible, and
Yep.
also covers Paleolithic and Neolithic periods.
Yep. Although my personal favorite, I think, to make it onto this list is um going to be Port Royal in Jamaica. The just that classic era of the golden age of piracy coming to life here. I think that's very fun. Getting that original port made a UNESCO World Heritage Site because the port sunk into the sea in 1692. It's underwater.
It's just kind of interesting because Port Royal was a hub for piracy in the Caribbean.
Yep. It was also a major British colonial center, has a lot of ties to both their power in their new world and the trade that they used to maintain their labor force. This was
Mhm.
one of the central hubs for that. So it has a lot of varied history, some of which is very dark, and that makes it, I think, a very well-rounded site in my eyes, because you've got a lot of aspects coming together to kind of make this moment in history.
There are a couple of other cool ones that should get an honorable mention, including the Murujuga cultural landscape, which covers the Aboriginals of Australia, which they pay on homage and pay notice to the original settlers, the Ngarda Ngarli, the traditional owners and custodians of the site, and it reflects 50,000 years of continuous care. There's petroglyphs, unique motifs that show their artistry, their technical mastery.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's very beautiful. Also there's the Maratha military landscape in India,
Yeah.
which is just it's basically the Great Wall of India. It's a series of 12 fortresses built by a very militarized empire in India. And it really exemplifies how they projected force and preserved their own internal integrity. It's very foreboding, very dominant. A lot of the artwork kind of shows this sort of like protracted wall style fortification.
And quite frankly, I'm surprised you haven't mentioned the Minoan palatial centers.
Oh yeah, no, those came up earlier a little bit. I brushed on them briefly. I didn't want to like spend all day talking about them,
Because I know you
but
could and actively
we,
would.
yeah, I can and would.
You
Instead, I'm going to talk about a
filthy
wonderful new one
classicists.
from Italy, which is the funerary complexes in Sardinia. Sicily has funerary complexes, I believe, on UNESCO. Italy has funerary complexes on UNESCO, but Sardinia has been overlooked for very long. And so we're getting to see some of the prehistoric Sardinians get recognized here, which I think is very fun, rounding out the sort of set for Italy.
But yeah, figured this would be a great way for us to look at some of these new sites because we talk about a lot of the older ones, but not often do you see the list expand, and this has a lot of cool ones. We'll probably end up talking about some of these here in the near future, so be on the lookout for those, and we will see you guys in the next episode.